Good evening, and welcome to another edition of Tell the Truth and Shame the Devil. I'm Jennings Bernard, your host. As always, you can catch me right here each and every day, Monday through Friday, from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Facebook Live. You also can catch me on X, YouTube, Spotify. If you didn't catch it during the regular time, you can catch it on these different platforms. But also, you can go to the website when you got time and you're relaxing and you want to hear about what went on the show. You can go to memphisrealtalk.com. Again, memphisrealtalk.com. Memphis Real Talk, that's one word, .com. And it'll take you to the Facebook page and you will see what we are doing and what we will be trying to build. And let me say this, what we are going to build. Because any journey that I take on, hey, I make sure it is top notch, 100%. And you, while you're there, go down to the donation page. Make a donation, no matter how small or how large. Hey, you will be able to help build this community platform that we are already got going on. And we want you to be a part. We invite you to be a part. And while you're over on Facebook right now, go down to the bottom and you will see subscribe. Push that button and be a subscriber to this program. And we really do appreciate you being a part of this. It's all about you, the community. And we got a lot to talk about in this community. And whether you like it or not, you are hotel owner. We'll talk about that in just a minute and see what you got to say. If you want to type and leave a message, feel free to do that. Go to the comment page and tell us what you think about Memphis, Tennessee acquiring the old Sheraton Hotel. Well, if you go to my page, you'll look and see. I got the board of directors, three different board of directors will be running this for 2 years. But you know what we do here. We talk business, legal, social, whatever affects you. We will talk about it right here on Tell the Truth and Shame the Devil. In this case, it may be a whole lot of devils, in my opinion. As you look at the board of directors from different board of directors that will have their hand in the pot, they will be directing an oversight on this hotel for 2 years. And 2 years, if they get it up and running from this report, I think they're going to run it for 2 years while Memphis decide how they're going to come about renovating the hotel. Now my question becomes, how can you buy something if you don't know how you're going to keep it up or how you going to do the upkeep on the hotel? I remember, ladies and gentlemen, that was a beautiful hotel. Been there many times doing church conferences, annual conferences, grand conferences in the AME Church. Nice hotel. I used to enjoy, along with my bishop and other preachers, going to the restaurant. And it was a top-notch restaurant. And I used to sit there and we talked church business as it relates to the general church and local church. We did it all right there in that beautiful hotel at that time. I got a picture there of the hotel and what it looked like in its heyday. A nice shot. So go down to my uh, timeline on Facebook and uh, just look at it. Will it ever get to be a grand hotel as it was once before? It scares me because if the leadership in this community that we call Memphis going to have anything to do with it, it's suspects to me. But you got other people who Uh, at the top, as it relates to this, just go there and just look down at all of the people that are connected with this for the next 2 years. If they get it up and running and it's functional, uh, for them to start renting it out, uh, there's a whole lot of renovation according to this report and what they are trying to do, and will make a decision in 2 years. I think there's going to be increases in taxes to be able to take care of this hotel. We bought a hotel, and when I said we bought it, you, the taxpayer, bought it because you are the lien holder of this purchase because it was bought by the city of Memphis. And who is the city of Memphis? It is not Paul Young, he's just a figurehead. The people who actually own the hotel will be the taxpayers because they're going to come to you asking you for money to keep it up. Ladies and gentlemen, we have poor leadership. They can throw up something up against the wall and see if it sticks. They have no idea of what they're doing. They don't realize how many hands will be in the pot, in my opinion, when they get this thing up and started. They're gonna need all kind of people as it relates to workers who's going to take care of the maintenance part. And you got the cleanup people who's gonna be cleaning up the hotel room every day and every night. You're gonna have managers managing those people, and then have, if you're smart, somebody to manage those managers. The hotel business, as I looked at and traveled many years to many different hotels and saw the staff, you got to have the staff that's going to be courteous, and you can depend on. May not be nice people. Some of them could be arrogant, but I hope that they would hire the best people to run that hotel. But you talk about the possibility of people getting rich off of this hotel. People will be doing any and everything because you got a grand situation as it relates to this hotel. Will they be honest? Will they do the right thing? What would the city, the citizens of Memphis, how will they prosper from this? Or will they just be individuals footing the bill by way of taxes? See, ladies and gentlemen, Paul Young didn't just wake up one morning and say, "We want a hotel." That was people behind the screen that's pulling his chain like puppet masters, and he's the puppet. And he has no thought in his head as it relates to taking care of business like that. First of all, he can't take care of the people in Memphis that he was elected to do. So he can't keep the violence down. But we have more violence under control now because of the threat that we have in this city by way of more highway patrolmen. And highway patrolmen not playing with you either. I see them out there making arrests. They're taking care of their business. As I told you on yesterday, right in front of my home, we thought it was a man running from the police in the car while all the children was getting out of school. Could have ran up on the sidewalk, killed some of the kids, but we found out it was a woman that was speeding down the street that could have killed a lot of children that was walking from school home. Parents were grabbing the kids and getting them out the way, sheltering them from any hurt, harm, and danger. But yet, here we are with this violence that's in Memphis that's taking place. What is going on, not only in Memphis, but in the country? We have this all over, but we saw it and we witnessed it on yesterday. So again, to all of those people who tell me we don't need the extra security, those who trying to tie the hands of the National Guard, who really are the threat that is getting this under control with the help of the other agency. But you tied their hands. You don't want them to do nothing. Just be the threat. They can't get involved. But I remember in 1968, and I say it again, the National Guard did more than just being a threat. They was arresting people. And they predicted that they would do this for 30 days, curfew in place, what I told you in the beginning, before any of your candidates or even your mayor even thought of it. But they still haven't put it in place. I was talking about a curfew. I was talking about the National Guard. And you see a result of them being here because if it worked in 1968, April 4, under the assassination of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the city was gotten into control. But all of a sudden, we lose officers who really need a decent wage, a decent living, that go to other agencies in other cities because we could come up with, we want to buy a hotel, but we couldn't come up with the fact to give these officers and firemen and all of uh, the workers, first responders, a different, a decent wage, but they didn't do it. They want to go out and make big money with big wheel, making big deals while eating big meal, and never thought for a moment that the first thing you do is to secure, excuse me, the perimeter, meaning that you secure the violence that is going on in this city. And from that, once you get the city under control, then you go out and look at other ways of making this city great. But the problem is that we don't have the leadership to know how to take things and put it under control and then venture out. It's almost always about the money. It's always about how can we get away with getting the next dollar. And if you look at it, previous administration, you see that it's one deficit after another deficit after another deficit. And then when they come to budget, they cover up because they go on to something else that they want to do, but still got this deficit over here and nobody wants to address it. You have to address the mismanagement of money by previous administration or by this administration. I'm trying to get an individual to come on the show and talk about the 200 million. If you go to my Facebook page and you go down and you'll see the article that we talked about, and this report said that $200 million plus for the Memphis Light, Gas, and Water and tree trimming. All of a sudden, 100 million in this report is missing. Well, when you take over a situation, you are responsible for whatever goes on in this city. Well, we're not paying attention to what needed to be fixed over here. We wondering what we're gonna do to burden the taxpayers again. And that's what it is. It becomes a burden to you as the taxpayers and citizens of this community because you got to foot the bill by way of taxes. We got to elect, really elect, people who really care about you, the citizen of this community, and not about what they can do and who shot John and care nothing about you, but they caring about themselves. So when will you wake up? I hope in 2026 next year. It will be a change because it was evidence of this last election that the Democrat pretty much swept all of the positions. And again, congratulations to them. But it is a turnover, as I told you. It goes from the Republicans being in charge in so many years, and then they mess up, and then it's flipped back to the Democrats, and it with the Democrats until they mess up. Why are they messing up? Why can't they just do the right thing on behalf of the people in America or here in Memphis, Tennessee? See, when you have larceny in your heart, when you broke his Joe, and you want to get into a place where you can see a lot of money being made and passed, and that larceny and that devil in your heart will say to you, look, I'm looking at all this money. What do I need to do to get some of it? And that's what we have when we have an individual that was pardoned by the governor, given a second chance, and he ended up doing the same thing he got the pardon from. That's larceny. That's the devil that's controlling you, telling you, hey, look at this money. All I have to do is say yes to it, and I can get that 30 pieces of silver. There's so many politicians in the past and the present. You will find out if that forensic audit, as I spoke of before, is done with the school board when it comes to contracts, favoritism, nepotism. You're going to find out a lot that went on under the leadership, and a lot of it came out with Jarvis Ray. And you go back and you look at it. These individuals who are making decisions to get rid of Dr. Marie Fagan, that was a situation that would sit down and met with those individuals. And some of them didn't know, the three that said they didn't know about these meetings. And see, that's against the law. That some of them meet without telling the other board members, but they thought they could get away with it. And see, whatever is done in the dark, as they used to say, will come out to the light. And I believe that. But we got to get smart. I want you to sit back and think about it. No one informed us, your representative didn't tell you that this is on the plate, this is on the table. They're thinking about buying a $22 million hotel. They didn't think enough of you to even tell you. They just do it and throw it down your throat. You know, I remember Bill Cosby said something talking to his daughter on the show one, and he brought a boy home, and he said, "You brought him in this house. It was a steak, but you served it to me on the lid of a garbage can." See, I remember that because it sticks out. It's all the way you present something will make the people accept it or they'll deny it. But the way you serve it is the most important thing. So if you serve us this hotel on a garbage can lid and you didn't do it properly, people are going to think, those who really think about what's going on, why did they do that? How come they didn't inform us that they was about to do this? But the big wheels got together, made big deals while eating big meals and say, hey, this would be a great thing. All of a sudden, for 2 years now, they're going to study in this report that I got on my page. You can read. You can read it on the Black Community Organization tab. You can read it on the Enough is Enough page. You can also read it on my timeline. And look at it. And look at all the people who are involved in it from one board to the next. I think it's 3 different boards that's going to be in the next 2 years have an opinion. They say the city Center City Development Corporation, CCCDC, CCDC, uh, will have some influence in regard to this. Uh, they have a board that's outside of Memphis that's going to have some uh, opinion. See, when you have too many people trying to serve on a board or an organization, you got too many chiefs and not enough Indians, if I use that analogy. See, you got to have some people that know how to lead, but you also have to have people that know how to follow. I hope for the success of the hotel because I love the hotel back in the day if they can make it work. But when you go to getting the taxpayers and the money get to flowing, and those people who are in charge that's supposed to be doing the right thing may not do it. I would hope that they would do the right thing. But see, you remember when we as citizens told Paul Young that we didn't want C.J. Davis as the chief of police. And they went on and drug it on. They were going to take care of it in June of the next year. They went on and didn't do it. They made her interim, wasn't paying any attention to what the citizen said they wanted. And the citizen need to make Paul Young pay for that. If that was a recall, he should have been paying through the recall. But you got an opportunity to make him pay for what you told him you wanted 3 years from now. You can show him who's really in charge. Because when you tell somebody in leadership, as citizens of this community, you want C.J. Davis gone, she should have been gone. Basically, for the death of Tyree Nichols. But while you was worrying about the school board, the city council, knowing also because you told them that you want her gone, but they played politics on you, sleight of the hands, while you was worrying about this over here, they sneaked it in while you wasn't paying attention. And there's no if, and, but about how they did it, they did it. Your attention was on the school board and you approved the statement. And still, I say, to all the ones who say, well, she's doing a good job. No, she's not, in my You slip in there. And you have nobody strong enough in leadership to understand. And the only thing they understand, we got here by way of the money that was put into our campaign, and we got to listen to those folks who gave us the money to hoodwink, bamboozle, and run amok over the black community to get them to vote me into office. And now that I'm here, I don't owe anything to the people who put me in here. I pay, I owe respect and dedication to the people who gave me the money to get here. See, the money didn't really elect them. The people did because money never went into a voting booth and pushed the button for any candidate. But guess what? You did. And you see a result of the mistake that's being made by this administration because they're not listening to you. They're listening to other people. If they were listening to you, C.J. Davis would have been gone after the death of Tyree Nichols. And the city got so many lawsuits pending. The county government got so many lawsuits pending. And guess who paid the bill if these lawsuits go against the county or the city? Lee Harris ain't gonna go in his pocket, although that dummy you put in office He ain't got the ability to pay millions of dollars for the death of these individuals in the county jail. Floyd Bunny ain't got that much money, although you gave him a good retirement after 8 years in service. That's when I believe the lawsuit not only should be filed against the county or the city, they got a protection for politicians. I think they should be tagged as personal responsible for what they failed to do as leaders. I still say that C.J. Davis should have been indicted because the buck stops at the top. You created that situation and it went backwards. So, how many of us can create a situation that caused the death of someone? We not held responsible. If you accept these jobs, get the responsibility goes along with that. I remember the late Gene Barksdale coming, the sheriff, to the academy when I was in there. And he said to the men and women, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your sheriff, Gene Barksdale. And the buck stopped with me. But I want you to help me so I won't have to deal with these situations that can occur. Meaning that you, as the law enforcement officer, do your job and do it properly. So therefore, we as citizens, me as the sheriff, would not have to deal with some foolishness in so many words. So if he was man enough to tell us that the buck stopped with him, why can't Floyd Bunner understand that? Why can't Lee Harris understand that? How come Paul Young don't understand that? But they want to hide behind that shield of protection. See, understand when you take on these positions, you have an awesome responsibility. People who put you in that office. And when you play with the people, when you steal from the people, when you rob from the people, then you need to be held accountable to the people and to the law breaking that has occurred on your watch. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to wake up and realize that we need to help ourselves. When you know better, you're supposed to do better. But it looks like we keep on doing the same old thing, expecting. So, you know what they say about that? They say that's insanity. But we must be crazy, but they used to say in the city of Memphis, because guess what? We keep taking old, cold, warmed up politicians and keep serving them to you and to the people of this city. Why? They didn't do anything to make your life better in the previous position that they're in. Why do you put them in another position with no experience? Want to be the chief, the person in charge, but then when mess up, they don't want to take the responsibility of what took place. Until we start realizing we need more than a face and a body. We need a face, a body, and experience in that position. I wouldn't get behind a plane. I've been up in a ultralight, flying it around with friends over in Marion, Arkansas. I've been over there, and I flew around and rode around in one of those ultra. You know, pick up the phone today and call me and said, Jennings, we one pilot short, leaving Memphis going to California. Can you come and fill in? I would say hell to the no. To the no, no. I'm not getting behind airplane just because I flew in there. Don't have the power, don't have the experience to be a pilot. But too many people in our city, because they're able to run with no criminal history, they're older, they 18, they want to become a pilot. And they tell you, talk sweet nothings to you, vote for me and I'll set you free. If you vote for me, oh, I can do this. How can you do it if you've never done it before? And that's the problem that we have in this city when it comes to our elected officials and who we elect. You own a hotel now. Have Paul Young ever ran a hotel? But it's a money maker for the people who put him in office. In the long run, people will be paid on the table and get that 30 pieces of silver because, in my opinion, the best patsy they could get, meaning they found the right boy to do what they wanted to get done. Paul Young never told you while he was campaigning, and he was on this show, and he didn't mention, matter of fact, on this show, he didn't have an agenda. And I questioned him, how is it that you running for office and you don't know what you're going to do when you get there? So buying the hotel proved to me he didn't know what he was going to do. Because if he did, he would have said, well, look, my plan is to buy the Sheraton Hotel and we're going to renovate it and do this. You would have known that was coming. But he didn't say that when he came to your church, when he came to your organization. He didn't say that because he knew that probably wouldn't be a good thing to do, so he didn't say it. He waited till he got into office, and those who were large and in charge told him what he needed to do, and this is what he done. Those who were large and in charge told the people that they were going to get 5%, but when they sit back at the table, they said, "No, just go back. I'm only 3%. Don't sign any contract agreement with them as of yet." And see, can you imagine being in charge or supposed to be in charge? You sit across the table from a group of individuals who are hard workers, who deserve a raise, and you sit here, first responder. You talk to them and you tell them and you agree on 5%, but then you come back to them and then tell them something different. That shows that you're not a leader. You're just a patsy that's doing what you are told to do and not what the people want you to do. I'm Jenny Bernard. You've been listening to Tell the Truth and Shame the Devil. You can catch me each and every day here, Monday through Friday, from 5 to 6 p.m. And I really do appreciate you being a part of this program. Think about it. You are hotel owners now. Will it be up and running in the next 6 or 7 years? I doubt it. They said they got to study it for 2 years. They're going to be charged of it. Is the hotel prepared to take care of the people who come here and want to live and want to rent a room right now? Or has it been sitting so long that the plumbing may not be working? It's just been sitting empty. How long has it been sitting empty? Can you start it up? You got to hire all of those workers to come in and do the various jobs to keep that hotel up. And that's no small task. That's a lot of man hours that you have to sit down and work on it. And in the process, we'll be paying them by way of our tax dollars, bond money, or whatever the $22 million how they raised it or how they're going to raise it. But guess what? They're going to raise it off the back of the people, and that's your tax dollars. You ought to demand certain things. Who are going to be in charge? What race of people will be in charge? You know who they are. The more majority of the administration, come on up to it, will be white. How many African Americans would be in management? How many African Americans would be supervisors or any other race of people besides the money people at the top? All those things we should have considered, we should have thought about. And sometimes they think that you are stupid enough and you're not intelligent enough for them to come to you with big projects like that. Come to you and say, hey, we got this money, we're going to renovate Tom Lee Park. We're going to do something else without asking you. Yeah, something administratively you have to deal with every day. But then when you take on a project, $22+ million, and you don't even talk to the people who got to put the bill, something is terribly wrong with that management of your money in the city of Memphis. As always, I really do appreciate you tuning in and being a part of this program. You know the number 901-288-5779, or you could leave a message later and we will do that. Remember to subscribe, to this podcast. Go down at the bottom, you'll see the subscribe button. Push it, go on and do that. Because so many of you are listening to this program, and we want you to be a part of it. So don't forget to subscribe on Facebook, and then go over to the website at memphisrealtalk.com. Again, memphisrealtalk.com. And while you're there, look at what we are doing. And we want this thing to grow bigger and better. And you can be a part of it by donating on the donation button at memphisrealtalk.com. On the first page, and you can go to all of the different links. You can go to the podcast link. You can go to the news link. You can go to letters from my desk as it relates to my opinion of what's going on in this city. We have a sports button. I put Tiger Walker Woods on there because in his heyday, he was a hell of a golfer, still a golfer, because I love the golf whenever I have the time here lately. Now I'm sitting back, I'm relaxing a little bit. I'm gonna get with my friends and maybe we can start back playing like we used to. And not only that, you go to several other buttons that's on there. Just go to memphisrealtalk.com, leave a donation, no matter how small. If it ain't nothing but $1, we appreciate that. Or if it's more than that, we appreciate that. We just trying to keep this platform. Tell the truth and shame the devil. Some may not like the title, but that title came to me spiritually as I looked around at the school board and others who we are just putting in office and don't hold them accountable. Well, this program and others like this here are out here trying to hold these politicians accountable. I'm going to do my part, and I'm going to ask you to help me to do what is necessary in this city. We got an election coming up next year. If it's the Lord's will and the creek don't rise and we still here, we want you to make a difference. We want you to shake up some things in this city to make these individuals not to ask anymore, because you've been asking them for too long and never get anything. You demand that these people, when they come to you, talk to you, stand up and talk about the crime in this city. Oh, but they gonna tell you that's my top priority. How many of them tell you that? Go back as far as Willie Harrington. Top crime, top agenda was fighting crime. But look at where we are today. A.C. Warden, the same thing. Jim Strickland, the same thing. Paul Young, the same thing. And then you gonna get upset because help is truly here to make a difference. Over 2,040 plus arrests. I don't care whether it was ICE or anything else. You broke the law, you broke the law. And if you was arrested for it, you so be it. You're arrested for it. But over 2,040 arrests, over 100 illegal guns, over 90 uh, young people returned back home that was runaways or whatever you want to call them. But you can see that there's a difference that's taking place in this city. I'm Jenny Bernard, and I really do appreciate you as always. My grandmother used to say, if it's the Lord's will and the creek don't rise, we'll see you on tomorrow. And remember what I said. I often say to you, trust everyone, but do not trust the devil inside of them. God bless. Take care until I see you tomorrow. Good night.